I know I already did a video yesterday, technically last year, ooh, but I honestly didn't wanna wait to make this video. Like, I ain't waiting, to do a Cuphead Show review, especially since I have no reason to wait, since I already wrapped up my reviews on all the seasons. You can watch all of my review if you wanna know my thoughts on specific seasons beyond the pretty quick, recaps I'll do for this video, well, then just go watch them all. Do them in my playlist, by the way. I have whenever someone gets to like a season two, I usually do like a playlist. I make a playlist with all of my season reviews of that show. You should actually go like watch them and like support my channel and all that. That'd be pretty dope. Regardless, for since this is my first overall series review, please excuse me if it is a little clunky and all over the place. As this is not really meant to be as if you've watched my channel by now, you know I'm kind of bad with formatting things, and I'm really more of a loosey goosey kind of reviewer. I don't take myself or my views too seriously, so don't take this as like a genuine massive review. Just take this as some guy who's spent the last couple of months rewatching all the seasons of the show, and is now telling us thoughts about the whole thing as a whole. Not that's so repetitive. Oh my god. You get the point, hopefully. So to start, I want to start with my history on Cuphead Show. I always knew about Cuphead the game. It wasn't something I ever played, but as a giant fan of old school animation, it was a show I've obviously been as a game I was very interested in. And I always heard about the show and how, oh yeah, they're making a show. And I was just kind of like, boy, when's this thing coming out? And then it came out in God, I just sat through all the show. Hold on. 2022. Yeah, I didn't know that. Still, back in 2022, well, feels weird that now we're just starting 2026 and still like all that and I was only 2022. Doesn't sound that long ago, but man, the years have just flown by. Back then, I used to watch all of the seasons as they came out. So Cuphead Show is already a show. Is one of the few shows I've already seen every single episode of it before I came into this YouTube review series, which is weird because for a majority of these shows I'm reviewing, it's like my first time watching through them. But no, Cuphead Show was an exception. I hadn't watched the show since season 3 dropped, and I watched through all of it though. I remembered liking it. I remember I tried to show my brother like the first couple episodes of the show like a while ago, and he wasn't that into it. It was before I reviewed season 1 on YouTube, so already the golly, it was almost a year ago, if not even longer. I don't fully remember. So while I did rewatch those first couple episodes technically, it wasn't a show I like rewatched that often or anything. Not because I didn't like it. Again, I remembered liking the show fine, but I just had no real desire, especially since there was other stuff I wanted to do, like watch YouTube and be a lazy idiot. Mostly that. But eventually, when I started to do this review series, I eventually just got the idea to review Cuphead Show because hey, why not? It's a show I remember liking, and I've already seen all of it, so it's a nice cozy show to do. I'm in my season 1 review, and it is still, for some reason, the second most popular video on my channel. I have no idea if that'll ever change. It'll be kind of funny if it does change dramatically, and it'll be funny to even think this was that was a top tier video back then, view wise. But I'll never know how that video randomly got so many views. At least with my number 1 most viewed, my Simpsons Tracy Ullman Shorts review, that was my first video I ever made, so that at least makes sense. That was the real beginning. But one random review, I guess maybe because it's a newer show, since a lot of the stuff I like to look at are like more retro stuff because admittedly I'm not always the most positive towards modern shows. So maybe I mean, my season 2 video didn't do that greatly. It did kind of what I usually expect from my videos. And so far, season 3 honestly has looked slightly better than how my views have usually been doing. Not great. But then again, it hasn't even been a full day since I made that season 3 review, so I shouldn't really be talking about it for now. And with all that, it's time for me to actually talk about my thoughts on the show. I think I'll start with the characters and all that. I'm just going to quickly run through my thoughts on each of the main characters, since, for my personal opinion, the most important thing about a show is the characters. So we should get into it. Cuphead is a pretty good main character, in my opinion. He gives off like a Bart Simpson, Louise Belcher kind of energy, where he's clearly just mischievous, but deep down, he obviously does have a good heart. He's not like early Stewie Griffin or Eric Cartman, where he's just kind of evil. Nah, he's actually still a good kid who just messes up every now and then. This he's definitely on the higher end of characters. I think he's handled mostly really well throughout the show. Obviously, admittedly, a lot of the worst episodes are kind of like where they do push Cuphead a little too far, and it just gets really, really annoying. As an example, my least favorite episode of the whole show, which I can confidently say because I have already put all these episodes into a Google Doc. My episode at the very last is season 2's Lost in the Woods. And right above it is also the episode Sweet Temptation. In those episodes, Cuphead is just the worst, and he becomes super annoying to watch. But thankfully, these are more rare instances than the majority. Mugman, I think I like less as a character, but he still has his good moments, which is crazy because if we're only going because if we're being shallow and only going by designs, I think Mugman has a way better design. Maybe it's that Stimpy-esque nose that I really love. And also probably because blue's my favorite color. Probably that. But yeah, Mugman's good. Cuphead and Mugman have a very basic, like, brother bromance. And then it's kind of just a straight man, funny man kind of thing, with Cuphead being the rebellious one and Mugman being the safe one. I remember season 2 especially really had a lot of episodes where the two of them were kind of arguing. I honestly kind of prefer episodes where they're more on the same page. I think it's kind of not that I obviously don't mind them arguing and stuff. They're brothers, and as someone who has a brother who is a few months older than me, yeah, it's kind for a show about talking cops. The brotherness can be kind of realistic without sometimes we care for each other and sometimes not so much twin. We also have their caretaker, Elder Kettle. I'm assuming he's their grandpa, and the parents are just out of the picture for one reason or another. He's another character I like. He's not like the most relevant or anything. But he does his role of taking care of the cups well, and has a few good episodes and appearances, which is really all you need from a character like him. Next up, we have the main villain, the Devil, a character who I kind of said this a little bit in my season 3 review, so I'm kind of just going to repeat it here. The Devil started off in season 1 by being menacing, and then as the show went on, and especially by season 3, you can tell he became a lot more of a joke. Like, the writers took him mostly less seriously until like the very end. However, I'm not sure if this is like an unpopular opinion or anything, but I honestly don't mind this change. As again, it makes sense. He loses to Cuphead and Mugman over and over again across the show, so no duh. To me, it's a no-brainer that he ends up coming off as more and more pathetic. The Devil is either my favorite character or my second to Cuphead. I think as of now, the Devil is probably my favorite character. I'm not sure if my thoughts are going to change, but I do still really like him. His kind of character progression is good to see. And he's overall a fun character to have. Apparently, my brother doesn't like him because he has a gay voice, apparently. His words, not mine. Next up is Miss Chalice, and her whole development is a little rocky. I'm pretty sure in the season 2 review I made my thoughts clear that I thought it was kind of weird how How she just kind of came clean about her being able to turn to a ghost when in the season 1 finale they treated it like this whole big thing. But aside from that, she's a good character. She's a pretty good twin. I think in season 3 they handled her thing kind of well. I mean, they made the episode Joyride, which I didn't really think needed to exist, but at least it's technically the start of the whole ending trilogy. There's also special delivery a little bit before, which also felt like it was only made just for that ending tease with the devil. So they clearly put a lot of time into it. And if you see my season 3 review, you know my thoughts on the finale, and you know my thoughts on that whole thing and how it was handled overall. That's right. I'm not saying it. I want you to go and watch the review. Okay, so next up on the list, I'm going to go through some more of the minor characters. Cuphead Show doesn't have like the biggest cast of characters or anything, but I think a few of them are worth pointing out. There's the Devil's Henchman. Don't have a ton to say about him other than he's good. I like how him and the Devil kind of developed just a real friendship eventually. Even Satan himself needs at least one guy he can kind of like being around. There's also Stickler, who is one of my favorite love to hate characters I've seen in a show because, boy, does he fit that description. I love him and I love hating him. That's all you need to know about Stickler. That's all you need to know about this guy. Other than that, what else is there to say? This is clearly. Oh, this Pork Rind. He's solid, even if I don't think he gets enough screen time. They really could have done more with this character, in my opinion. But other than that, yeah, Pork Rind's fine. I think that's it. I guess before I round things off and talk about the seasons briefly, I'm going to talk about the best character, Telephone, who has this whole running bit throughout the show about having a soul ticket and then took him back. It's probably because I just love his voice and maybe thinking about an era before phones became this big thing of the internet it became, but I just like Telephone a lot. I find him so wholesome. Hashtag justice from a boy Telephone. And with that, I think I'm done with that. So I'm going to move on to my thoughts on the seasons. Okay, to answer the question, do I like the Cuphead Show? Because I've seen a positive on it so far. I think it could be a no-brainer. But if you actually hear my thoughts on the seasons, you'd almost think I didn't like the show. Season 1 is the best season. At its best, it's pretty good without truly being anything great. But at its worst, it's kind of just meh, okay enough. So a very consistently good season, but clearly showed room for an improvement. Then you have season 2, which is probably the worst season, which is the worst season of the three. It's at its best. It has most of my favorite episodes of the show are from season 2. Well, most of my least favorite episodes are from season 2. So yeah, it ended up becoming a huge mixed bag of a season, equally divided in episodes I liked and ones I weren't as positive on. Season 3, as I stated again in the review, is just a more mild version of season 2. Its highs were mostly kind of just the same as season 1's, but its lows were nowhere near as low as season 2's. Still a mixed bag, with pretty much all the episodes either being good or meh. But so if you count by season, I technically don't like the show, as I'd only call one of the seasons genuinely good, with seasons 2 and 3 just being mixed to meh among them. But in episode count, by one episode out of the 36 episodes, there are 19 episodes I'd give a 4 or above, compared to the 17 I'd give a 3 or under. So yeah, by 2 episodes, if we're going by pure episode count and the ratings I give to those episodes, which, I'm going by that. I like the Cuphead Show. Admittedly, I definitely think the show handled some of its progression poorly. Like, I think a lot of the arcs could have been handled better, and I'm gonna level with you guys. I'm the number one thing I'm disappointed by in the Cuphead show is the fact that for a show that claims to be based off Cuphead, it is a video game that looks like an old school cartoon, in a show that looks like an old school cartoon. Seriously, yeah. Another quick thing I'm gonna praise about the show, its animation. It is the best looking animated series I've reviewed so far. It looks so good. Watch the show for the animation alone. I beg of thee. It looks cell animated even though it isn't. That's impressive as heck. Netflix really gave them the budget for this one. Still, though, it kind of hurts when watching the show and it didn't feel like an old school cartoon at all, which is a shame because again, I'm a diehard fan of old school cartoons. I love, hey man, most people are gonna be like, hey, what do you want to watch? Oh man, there's gotta be so many good things. I'm gonna be like, twin, I'm gonna go on Tubi and rewatch some of them Looney Tunes, man. That's what I'm spending my time watching. I know. So it kind of bums me out that the show feels kind of normal and traditional a lot of the time. And again, I'd be more okay with this if the story arcs weren't handled as kind of poorly as they were. Season three, especially, I think, is kind of the weakest at that. It felt like a lot of season three was just kind of them trying to resolve stuff in the first two seasons, while not really doing the best job making the episodes on their own entertaining. Even if I do still probably consider it the funniest season, it still kind of suffered from that. But overall, yeah, I like the Cuphead show. Well, I like the characters. It could be very entertaining to watch, even if it's not the most laugh out loud funny thing ever. I'd say give it a watch. Like, why not? It's most episode. The longest episode you're gonna get is like 20 something minutes. It's not gonna kill you to watch at all. Heck, the only reason why season three took so much longer to review is because they simply just had a lot to do, a lot of seasons to review during that time. So yeah, that's Cuphead show. I don't think I have anything else I really need to say about the show other than I liked it, and why not watch it? Now, to end things off, I've decided I'm going to go through a whole roundup. I'm going to actually say the list of every episode from my number 36 to my number 1. And I will say the season each and every episode is from. So if this gets more annoying than usual when I say all the episodes, then I don't know, click off the video now. Since this is pretty much letting you know I'm done with it. Before I click off though, overall, I'm very glad I dedicated a video to just yapping about the show. The fact I even got this much time off of just casually talking about random aspects of the show is impressive. Alrighty, let's get into it. At the bottom, with the 1 out of 5, so we have number 36, Lost in the Woods from Season 2, Sweet Temptation from Season 2, and Say Cheese from Season 2. Well, yeah, I really meant it when I said Season 2 has the worst of the worst. In terms of 2 out of 5s, we have The Devil's Pitchfork Season 2. And that, surprisingly, is the only 2 out of 5 of the bunch. The only mediocre Cuphead Show episode, in my personal opinion, at the very least. Okay, now time to get to the 3 out of 5s. With the Dangerous Mugman from Season 1. That's All, folks, from Season 2. Joyride from Season 3. Baby Bottle from Season 1. Special Delivery from Season 3. A High Seas Adventure from Season 2. Down and Out from Season 3. A Very Devil Christmas from Season 3. Carnival from Season 1. Devil's Revenge from Season 3. Dead Broke from Season 2. Ghosts Ain't Real from Season 1. And just barely making it into the top 20 is the only 3 out of 5 in the top 20. Holiday Tree Edition from Season 3 is in the top 20. Now time for what I'm pretty sure is the majority of episodes with the 4 out of 5. Alrighty, sorry. This is taking a lot out of me. 4 out of 5 episodes. We have Dirt Nap from Season 1, Piano Lesson from Season 2, Another Brother from Season 2, Ruby and Croaks from Season 1, Root Pact from season 1, Charmed and Dangerous from season 2, Don't Answer the Door from season 3, Roll the Dice from season 1, Handle with Care from season 1. And here it is, my personal top 10 best of the Cuphead Show episodes. Number 10, Cup Staged from season 3. Number 9, Roadkill from season 3. Number 8, In Charm's Way from season 1. Number 7, Sweater Luck Next Time from season 1. And number 6, Sweater Off Dead from season 1. Then being the only 4 out of 5 in the top 5, we have Dance with Danger from season 3. And here it is. As kind of sad as it is to admit, out of all 3 seasons, there's only 4 episodes in the whole show that got the max rating out of me. Yeah, admittedly, there weren't a lot of episodes I thought were truly great, but the great ones should still be remembered and loved, even if there isn't even enough of them to make a real top 5 out of it, unfortunately. At number 4, we have Jailbroken from season 2, Release the Demons from season 2, The Devil and Miss Chalice from season 3, and The Ice Scream Man from season 2 is my favorite Cuphead Show episode. I have no idea if that's the popular opinion. From the little I've heard, it probably isn't, but I don't care. It's the one I enjoy the most. So, yeah. Especially since I watched these seasons months apart, season 3 especially, watched apart from the first 2, don't be surprised if my list doesn't line up with yours. If you individually rated all the episodes, they wouldn't be the same ratings as yours. Maybe you love Lost in the Woods. It is your favorite episode of anything ever. And the fact I dare even say anything blasphemous about it ticks you off so hard that you're still somehow watching the episode, this review, only out of anger. Then get help, twin. Nah, seriously though. Although technically it's now being wrapped up in 2026, I'm glad I finished watching a show in 2025. At least to round up my first year of season reviews. I definitely hope across 2026 I can finish a few more, but knowing me and knowing my schedule, probably not. Still, though, I'm definitely happy I introduced this new format to the channel. Please rewatch my Cuphead Show videos. Please watch it through that whole playlist. I literally put a little text box saying completed. I think that's cute. Come on. Please check it out. Maybe even just watch it to see how my reviews have changed over the years. And then to this one, and it's all like, oh man, this guy went from crap to slightly less amount of fecal matter. Regardless, I am Zman Reviews, and hope to see you guys later in 2026.